Good Monday morning. Here is Kramer's Corner with the daily technical updates, and we have a lot of stuff to cover today. It is going to be a very busy week for earnings out of US, and some of the big names will report this week, and some of them already did last week. So let's have a quick look at some of them, which is have formed some quite interesting top and reversal patterns on the especially the weekly. Here we have Apple forming what we call a shooting star-like pattern that is a top and reversal. The interesting thing is there's no divergence on the RSI, so maybe it's not that big a reversal, but we will most likely see a larger correction on Apple. Testing some support here around 191, but all this support area here is crucial, so look out for the rising trend line there. Also Microsoft, very interesting on the weekly, also forming a shooting star-like pattern here. I mean, it's really shot up and then totally collapsed towards the end of the week. If it breaks below the rising trend line, it's not that reliable, I have to say, but the shooting star is likely to be a top and reversal, at least on the short term. Let's see if it's just going to be a correction, or it's actually that was the peak in place. The jury's still out. We can see the underlying moving averages are still pointing higher. I still believe that we will see a couple of week of weakness going into to August, and I think buyers will come back in September and October trying to lift the market. But let's see when we get to that. Meta, also interesting, just below the some resistance here around 323, formed this bearish candle here. It's not a complete textbook bearish engulfing pattern, but it does look like a top and reversal, and we are likely to see a larger correction. How big is still up for debate, but 260 here, as you can see, there's some support around 260, probably dropping down to the support area here between 243 and 230. Interesting will be, of course, can it stay above the daily cloud, and that's something I will look out for. What is interesting, also, of course, is also the RSI on weekly is still bullish, whereas the on daily there's divergence, and it seems to be unfolding this negative sentiment pattern. Amazon bearish candle Friday, not really a bearish engulfing, very close to, I think we'll see a correction down there to 120-ish level. And let's have a quick look at Tesla. That was also very interesting. Massive bearish engulfing candle here after being rejected at the falling trend line. Falling trend lines are not that strong, but still it got rejected here just below 300 and took out the past couple of weeks of trading. Again, same picture. We don't have any divergence on the weekly RSI, so the correction could just of course, that can still hurt for some investors, down to around 225-ish level. The key level here on the daily, look out for that, 240.70, 235. That is a really interesting key level area to look out for. More or less the same picture on the weekly. On Netflix, also a shooting star-like candle. It's not a textbook one, but still couldn't really follow through with the positive start to last week, and that of course will weigh on the indices, especially Nasdaq 100. That is still holding up somewhat, but as you can see, it gapped lower Thursday, and if it breaks below this falling trend line, we are still above 15,500. But I think if it breaks below this rising trend line, which I believe it will do, then we could see a dip down below 15,000 to around 14,690 level, and top of the cloud. The S&P 500 had this formed evening doji star top and reversal, fairly reliable one, and I think the next couple of days we will see a test of the rising trend line here and the 45.55 support level to test the lower rising trend line. That's going to be key. If that is broken, well, then we are looking below 4,400. On the European markets, a little bit different there, to be honest. Still range bound on DAX, AEX. also still range bound, can't really get above 781. Belgium market ticking higher. It's moving to contrary to the other markets. I mean, but it seems like it's totally opposite of the rest of the market. We had very bearish markets over in April, May, June, and as soon as the other markets becomes a little bit weak, then suddenly the Belgian market takes off, and 3850, 3900 seems likely level to be reached here in a week or so. CAC was interesting. It actually closed above 7,404 Friday, but it's struggling to follow through. And what is interesting also that the RSI didn't close, it looks like it, but it didn't close above 60. So we are not really in a bullish sentiment trying to support this, but we are above the cloud. So maybe we are seeing a shift to the European markets. On the FX front, euro dollar correction still ongoing, could dip down to 110, which is the 61.8 retracement before I think we will see some reversal coming in there where the uptrend is likely to pick up. The opposite picture on the dollar index could go up to 101.73, which is the 618 retracement. It broke above and now trading above 100.68, which is the pivot, support pivot here. We are still in a downtrend, and we will be in a downtrend until we actually takes out previous peaks here around 103.30. That's the ones to look out for, but they're still a way up there, and we will have some overhead resistance with the moving averages coming down here. We have RSI that are quite bearish in terms of sentiment. Cable could dip down to 128, very close to before. I think we will see a pickup in the uptrend again. On euro sterling really struggling. It seems it can't really. I mean, it did look like the double bottom here was confirmed, but it can't really follow through, and closing below the 86.60 every single day, and maybe it's going to be cancelled. If we drop back below the cloud here, or back below 86, well then I will consider the double bottom at least short term to be cancelled, but still observe this level here, which is quite key. Dollar yen pausing here just below 142 and the 61.8 retracement. I think we'll see a little bit of a setback back to 140 before the uptrend is likely to resume. We need to have the RSI back above 60 to confirm the uptrend. So we're still struggling a little bit, whereas the euro yen got rejected at 158 for the second time, so there seems to be a lot of interest around that level. Retracing a little bit back, so it's going to be interesting. Can it actually break below this falling rising trend line here or not? That's the key. So 158 and the rising trend line. I believe it's to the upside, but it's not really confirmed yet. I can't really say something with 100% certainties here. Sterling yen 168 hasn't moved that much compared to the other yen pairs, so we could be a little bit range bound between 179 and 182. We need a breakout, and we definitely need a 184 to be taken out. I mean, the RSI divergence is still in play, so that's really key to look out for. On gold, got rejected just below 2,000, actually well below 2,000, around just below 1990, which is around the 50% retracement of the sell-off here in May and June. Setback back to 1940, possibly dipping down to the 61.8 retracement at 1930 before I think we will see uptrends to resume. We are in a bullish sentiment across the board here, across time horizon, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. I still think that we will see higher gold levels. Copper range bound to the weaker side, but I don't think we'll see it below 370, maybe dipping below, but it seems just by being range bound here for quite some time. And silver, a little bit of testing here at the 24.50. It's not the strongest support, but around here I think we will see a little bit dip below before we move higher. On the energy, we have Brent ticking slowly higher. There's still strong resistance at 83, and on the WTI is 79.20, 80.30 level here, some strong resistance around that level. And finally, let's have a quick look at wheat that is moving higher, and I think it will move higher here in the coming days and weeks, and possibly take out the 784. This is the, as you can see, this is the December contract we are looking at. And lastly, the US 10-year interest rate formed last week on the 20th of July, Thursday, this bullish engulfing pattern here just above the 367 support area, and you can also see we have a gold cross here on the 55 and 200 moving. I think we will see higher yields towards 4% in coming weeks. But look out for this support level there. All right, this week we will have a lot of earnings coming out from the big names in US, and I will cover most of them, a lot of them. So stay tuned for my updates on Saxo Trader and Home.Saxo. Thank you very much.